Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Bacon. Okay, you know the drill. We don't need to get into all this. Kind of loud. So today, I'm sure as you could tell by the title, I'm coming at you with a different kind of video. This is something I've wanted to bring to the channel for kind of a long time, and just haven't had the motivation or will to do it until now. And you know, Vanguard's kind of gay, so we're doing it now. I'm talking about. That's right, the superior card game, Buddy Fight. For those of you that don't know what Buddy Fight is, it's, better Vanguard. No, that's a lie. It's completely different from Vanguard, but it's just a superior game made by the same company. So, a lot of people, when I tell them about Buddy Fight and try to get into it, I even had the same complaint of that the secondary market kind of sucks, and the game can seem a little expensive. So I figured, you know, why not start making some profiles of budget decks, because they're what I build, because I can't afford to play like 3 different games at once. So Buddy Fight, I'm kind of like, since I don't have a Buddy Fight locals or any like local friends that play it, whenever I build decks, I want to keep it like to as much of a budget as possible. So I figured I'd share this with you guys. If you're looking to get into Buddy Fight but you don't want to break the bank and you want to just get in pretty cheap, this deck's a good way to do it. So our budget deck right today is Bladedancers. I really like this deck. So first up you have of course, your Cotton World flag. You need this to, you know, play your Cotton World stuff, because this is a Cotton World deck. Yeah. On to the main deck. We play 4 of the Buddy, as Steel Frame, Swordsman, Kuragane. If you really wanted to keep this to a budget deck, you would not use it as your buddy, because you don't have to buy 5 of it. Instead, you only have to buy 4. He's still a 4 of. This is the best card in the deck. It's what makes your plays. I apologize for the shadows. This card is really, really good. It's like $10. It's the most expensive card in the deck, and it's kind of the only expensive card in the deck. But you kind of need it, so sacrifices need to be made. So it's called cost pay 1 gauge for the top card of your deck into its soul at the start of each player's attack phase. If your equipped Excel Blade item is stand, destroy a card in your opponent's field. If you do, you gain 2 life and deal 2 damage to your opponent. It has double attack and soul guard, and it's a 6/2/1. So this thing's really fun, because you just start your attack phase, and you just get to pop something for free, and then drain your opponent for 2. It's a 4-point, like, life swing right there, and when you start at 10, that's kind of big. He also has double attack, which is cool, so he can hit for 4 damage if, you know, it happens. But really, his just his attack phase ability is just, like, super powerful and really good, and you need this to play the deck. This is the deck right here. If any of you were curious, sorry. If any of you are curious, no, this does not have support for Violence Vanity. I think this is a Violence Vanity, or was it Golden Garga? I don't remember. Whatever of the Climax boosters this deck got support in, no, this does not have the support yet, nor does it have the promo. All of which are cheap cards, so it's not like I'm not playing them because of budget, it's just that I haven't gotten my hands on them yet. But those are cards you will run. You know what, screw it. Yeah, I'll show cards you can take out for the new support. But next is, if you want it to be budget, this would be your buddy. Silver Orchid Swordsman Zuzu. She's a 2/2/1 with call cost pay 1 gauge. When she enters the field, put up to 1 Excel Blade from your deck into your hand and shuffle your deck. And when this card attacks, you have an Excel Blade equipped. For this turn, this card gets Penetrate and Double Attack. So she's always going to have Penetrate and Double Attack. But really what you do is you enter to toolbox out your Excel Blade, which is literally how this deck functions. If you don't have an Excel Blade equipped, this deck does nothing. And I mean it. So she's incredibly important for just searching out the main thing in this deck, which we'll get to eventually when we hit the items. But yeah, so if you really want to go budget, play her as your buddy and play Kuragane at 4. Next up, size 1, Magnetic Swordsman Neo. Sorry, I got gunk in the lungs, you know how it be. He's a 4/1/1. Call cost, pay 1 gauge, put the top card of your deck into its soul. When it attacks, if you have Excel Blade equipped, put the top card of your deck into your gauge, draw a card, and it has double attack and soul guard. So, yeah, it may have low stats, but you get to draw 2 and charge 2 just by attacking with it. So, yeah, this is a really good card, and it gets you resources. You probably play this at... Yeah, play this at 4. Always play this at 4. Please play this card at 4. It's good. Another card that you need to always play at 4 is Heavy Blade Swordsman Namari. He's how you don't die. His abilities counteract. During an attack on your opponent's turn, if you have a Bladedancer on your field, call this card from your hand and change the target of the attack to this card. So he's just a human. You just chuck him down. He's a big old shield. And then during your opponent's turn, when it's destroyed, you put up to 1 Excel Blade from your drop zone into your hand. So not only is he like a shield, he also refills your hand with Excel Blades. Either if your opponent destroys your Excel Blade, he'll get it back so you can re-equip it, or he'll just add it to your hand, and it's just gauge fodder, which is always nice. So you don't have to, like, chuck any of your valuable cards to put into the gauge, because you need gauge. He's really good. He helps you stay alive, so play it at 4, so you can, stay alive. Next up is Rainbow Swordsman Titan. Really only playing him because he's a Bladedancer. He's a 5/1/1 size 1 monster. Choose up to 2 Bladedancer monsters with different sizes other than Titan from your drop zone. You may pay 1 gauge and rest this card. If you do, put the chosen cards into your hand. He's fine. If they like kill your Kuragane, you can get him back. If you need to search, you can get like a dead Zuzu and like search an Excel Blade. He's fun refunding, but like he is not a 4-of. Now that we have the support, I would personally cut 2 for the new Kuragane, and just play him at 2, because that's all you really need him at. You don't need to refund that much, but I have him as 4 right now, because, again, budget deck, like, playing what we have. Another card that we play way too many copies of is, Alloy Instructor, Shakudo. He is a size 2, 724. Hey, that's my area code. Call cost, pay 2 gauge, put the top card of your deck into its soul. If your equipped Excel Blade is stand, all Bladedancer monsters on your field get power plus 3k, crit plus 1, and penetrate, and has triple attack. So, if you can't kill them with, like, Kuragane or your Impact or like that, if you can't kill them, this guy's a great way to just obliterate your opponent, because he's going to up all your crits. He has penetrate. He's going to give everything penetrate. And then he has triple attack while all your other stuff is double attack. Like, this card's a really good finisher. It's just that it's kind of clunky. It costs a lot of gauge, and it's a size 2 that you don't want to always be on, because you want to be on Kuragane as much as possible. So, personally, I would, again, cut out 2 for 2 more copies of the new Kuragane. To play the new Kuragane at 4 and just keep this at 2. And just keep it as a nice finisher that, like, when you see it, yeah, you can kill somebody. It's nice, but you don't need it at 4. But hey, I'll say it a million times in this video. It's a budget deck. We play what we got. Onto the items, which are kind of the namesakes of this deck. We play 2 Excel Blade Godslash Kanesada. This thing is a, so first it's an item, 10-1-6. Yes, this is an item with defense. It's really cool. Its equip cost is pay 1 life. You cannot call monsters to your center, and this card on the field cannot be destroyed or returned to return to hand, and all Bladedancers on your field can't be arrested or destroyed by opponent's card effects, and it has counterattack. So yeah, your opponent's gonna have a fun time swinging into you with this. So whenever cards like reference you needing Excel Blade stand, you never want to attack with your item, because you never want it to be arrested. You always want your item stand, because that's how all your effects activate, is having a stood item. But this thing is really, really cool, because A, it's an item with counterattack and defense. It makes your opponent, like, it makes it really hard for your opponent to swing into you and not, like, lose advantage. Like, I absolutely love this thing. And then it, like, gives all your, like, they can't rest your guy, they can't rest your monsters, which is so much fun. This thing can't be destroyed. Like, this card's so good. And, thanks to Zuzu, we're able to play this at 2 and keep the budget cheap, because I think this thing's like $4. So we can effectively just keep playing it at 2 and just search it, because you only never need 1. So that's really nice. So that keeps this deck cheap. Our backup Excel Blade is Excel Blade Beast Cut. I should probably not be playing this at 4, maybe like 3 or 2. Basically, we need to have Excel Blades equipped as stand. So to keep it as budget, instead of going 4 Kanesada, 2 of this, I did it backwards to just keep the budget cheap. Kind of relying on Zuzu and just top decks, which has worked so far. But this is a 5 attack, 1 defense item. Equip cost, pay a gauge. You can outcome monsters to your center, obviously. This card can't be rested by your opponent's card effects. Cool, so it's always going to be stood. And all Bladedancer monsters on your field get power plus 5 can a crit. So you take, like, this thing. I don't know. No, not Zuzu. Let's do, Zuzu and, Shockdo. If this is your board, you have a 4 crit triple attacker, and does this also get crit? Yeah, a 4 crit triple attacker and a 4 crit double attacker. Yeah, that's 20 damage right there, and you can do this as early as your first turn. So, well, that's not centered at all, pardon me. So yeah, this deck's kill potential is, like, kind of out there. So yeah, you can get there with Beast Cut. I've done it. I've actually destroyed, or I haven't, no, yeah, like, Beast Cut is, like, actually a solid option if you're really just trying to kill your opponent. This is the offense while Kanesada does the defense of the deck. That's kind of how this rolls. This deck is very, like, it can pivot really hard. I really love it. It's a nice balance. It's like it's kind of a control deck that can also hit really hard. I don't know. It's a wacky deck, and I love it. Those are the items. Onto the spells. First, we play 4 Forging from Fire. Automatic 4-up. It's literally just, you can only cast this if you have a Bladedancer monster in your field, and then you draw a card. If you have an Excel Blade item equipped, you get the draw card. You can only cast this once per turn. Simple, just +2 for, like, free, because you're always going to have a Bladedancer and Excel Blade on your field, so it's just a free +2. Or, it's a +1, sorry, because you're losing some hand. Apologies. But yeah, it's just free plussing, and it's really good. It helps you dig out your pieces and really get what you need. Next up, my favorite card in the deck, Fusion Styles, Steadfast Sequence the First. This is your negate. This is your, like, attack nullifier, whatever you want to call it. So you can only cast this during an opponent's turn, and if your equipped Excel Blade item is stand. Counter, put the top 2 cards of your deck into your gauge, and you gain 2 life, and for this turn, the next damage you take is reduced to 0. Alright, cool. It's basically free for a gain 2 life, gauge 2, and nullify. That's already good. But what makes this card even better is instead of nullifying the attack, it instead reduces the damage to 0, which means the attack still hits, which means that Kanesada's counterattack still activates. So, like, you'll hit the situation where your opponent's like, alright, I may lose a monster to counterattack, but I need to deal damage to win the game. It's like, alright, cool, I'm gonna make this swing, I'm gonna lose my guy, but I need to hit you. It's like, alright, cool. Now you don't hit me and you still lose your guy. I also gain 2 life and 2 gauge. Like, this card is nutty at times, and oh my god, I love it. Like, it's really good. Like, oh my gosh. Like, having someone do that to you while they're already making non-profitable attacks is just back-breaking. I love it. And this deck, I think, only costs... These are about $10. I'm gonna make the budget version, like 40, 48... plus, like, all of these commons. Like, we're at, like, probably, what, $50 right now? Maybe a little more than that. We're almost done. Next we have, like, a couple more spells. These are more techie, like, budget spells. There are other spells you can play, like, way better spells. But they're kind of expensive, and this is a budget deck, so I'm playing things for fun. Tengu Draft, I specifically added this to counter Nathaniel that plays Astro Dragons, and they can be really annoying. Until I realized how rulings work, and they're actually not as annoying as I thought they were. This card's really funny. So all it is you can only cast this if you're being attacked, counter, nullify the attack, and return to one size 1 or less monster from field to hand. So what you can do is if they call, like, a size 2 and a 1, they swing, you can negate this size 2 and bounce the 1 to hand, so you effectively stop 2 attacks. This card's actually really, really good. I really like this card. Yes, there are cards that I'd rather play. I'd rather play the new promo than this. But, yeah, it's really good. So, like, normally I would cut this for the promo. But I still really like this card and I really enjoy it. I highly recommend you play it if you're on a budget and you can't get the promo or like any of this new support. Play this card. It's fun. A card I play just because again I don't have the new sets. Like I would play like this would go out for the new set spell. I need the new set spell. But for now it's just Shooting Crosshand's Right Hand, a classic buddy fight favorite. It's cast cost pay a gauge. You can only cast this when your opponent's monster attacks a monster on your right. Nullify the attack and destroy all monsters in your opponent's field. Back in the day when everything didn't have Soul Guard and like everything didn't have like this thing can't be destroyed, this card was hilarious. Because this would actually board wipe, and it was the funniest thing ever. And what would happen most of the time is Kuragane is such a nuisance to your opponent that he kind of becomes a lightning rod, and they want to attack and get him off the field as soon as possible. So always just call him my right, and whenever they attack him, just cross knives him. Like, oh, that's just a fun. It's just a really funny play, and I literally needed for like one more spell to play in the deck, and that was kind of all I could find. So I was like, you know what? Sure, this card's funny. I'll play it. It protects Kuragane, but that's getting kicked out for the new set spell. And then last but like most certainly not least, the reason you win games is the Impact Pinnacle of United Godspeed. Played it a whole 4. You need this card. So it's Impact. You can only cast this card if you're being attacked and if you're equipped with your equipped Excel Blade to stand. Cast cost, pay a gauge, pay a life. Counter, nullify the attack. Then, for this turn, nullify the abilities of all attacking cards and destroy them. If they are destroyed, deal 3 damage to your opponent. So, like, the absolute big brain play is, like, have your opponent, like, be at, 5 life. They start their attack phase. Kuragane bolts them to, puts them to 3. Shoots them for 2. Put them to 3. They swing. You play this, blow up their monster, and win the game. And this whole deck, I do this as many times as I can. I love killing my opponent on their own turn. I don't know why, I just get such enjoyment out of, like, killing someone on their own turn. It's just funny. So yeah, this card is really, really fun. I highly recommend, like, you need to play this before. This is, like, again, this is your win condition. This is how you win games, is, like, by baiting people with this. There's some funny tech plays you can do by, like baiting people with it. It's an Excel Blade, so it can be searched by, like, Zuzu. You can get it out of the bin with, like, Titan. Or with the, dude that calls himself to, like, redirect attack this guy. You can get it back with him. So, like, there's a lot of ways to refund this and get it back in your hand to use it again. So you can bait people if they know this is in your hand. It's really funny. This whole deck is like mind games because of your like counterattacking item, holding up this, and just other like shenanigans like that. So the entire deck is like mind games, and it's really fun. But yeah, that's the whole deck, and it's really cheap because this is like you get $4 a piece right there. So that's what, $16? 16. We only play 2 of this. They're about 4 a piece, so 8. So that's like what, 22 right there? Yeah, $22 right there. 24. I can't math. $24. And then if you're really playing the budget, 24, 34, 44, 54, 64. And then all these commons and rares. So it's about like, I want to say like 60, like about a little under $70. Especially the flag is probably like $2. So like, I want to say it's about $70, which for a budget deck is actually a little expensive. But like, when you get into the buddy fight of everything's like $100 to $200, and like you've been playing, I assume people watching this video play Vanguard, and like $70 is like, that's a good deal for a Vanguard deck. So like, I don't think $70 is a bad investment into like the most fun you'll ever have playing a trading card game. Like, I wholeheartedly believe Buddy Fight is like it's one of my favorite card games of all time. Like, I love this game. I wish I could play it more. I wish more people played it. It deserves so much more recognition. The anime for Ace is fantastic. Please watch it. Like, Ranma is like one of the greatest characters I've ever seen. So please do yourself a favor and watch it. Do yourself a favor and play Buddy Fight. Do yourself an even bigger favor and subscribe to this channel for more really cheap budget Buddy Fight decks. Welcome to Budget Buddies. I'm going to be uploading a couple more, like 1 or 2 more decks. We'll see where like money takes me, but like I got 1 more deck on the way. or I have like I think 2 more decks. Yeah, we have like 2 more deck profiles on the way. Potentially more, depending on how much people like this. So yeah, go ahead, subscribe, and be on the lookout for more Budget Buddies content. And catch you on the flip.